Okay, so first of all, I noticed that I look a bit like a crackhead, but that's also because I'm a bit sick. So for Celestials episode 5, the concept that I had in mind was kind of like a filler episode where we sort of see a lead up to the other episodes that are coming up. And you kind of get to see the main cast, so the heroes again, in a bit of their more natural state because they're always on missions in the episodes, but you have to remember that in their free time, which is a lot of free time actually, they just live happily in like their houses and they have like gardens outside in the towns and stuff. So we'd kind of start the episode off with that to give more of a sense of their like natural environment. So they probably be like outside running and like playing together. Maybe the main cast actually also has kids that are like around maybe 4 years old. So maybe you'd see like their kids playing tag in a big garden or something. And then essentially Lucas would kind of get this strange like hint from God that he would have to go together with the boys to find something. And essentially we get a run up of a story of a guy who put white stellarium, which is like a magical like material, kind of like white obsidian or whatever, in Celestials. And so you also have like a regular Tellarium, which kind of looks like obsidian and also has like magical properties and stuff. And so it's like really rare and whatever. So essentially, we kind of get a like a flashback of a guy who put white stellarium in the ground because that was like kind of his purpose from God like years ago, and then he died a while ago. And he wasn't really exactly sure why he had to put that there, and then essentially they find it, and they kind of get the hint and runner up that they have to build a portal to heaven. So this is kind of like Lucas who's getting these hints like from God in his mind or whatever. Um, and then essentially, wait, I'm thinking because this episode has a lot of like chronological steps. Um, I feel like after that they would get called on for a new mission. So the current king of Belgium, which is kind of like a blonde guy with like a long beard and stuff and like a crown and like the cool cape and whatever, he would call them on for a mission for some help. Because there would be like a strange problem that's occurring, where he notices there's like weird things happening in the place where he lives. So the king of Belgium would kind of live in this almost like modern, like medieval style mixed like town with like maybe like castles or whatever, um, but with like modern technology. And so essentially, he would call them on for this, and maybe they would stay at the residence for like a few days or maybe a week, because this was like a build up that the king noticed like strange events happening at the town where he lives. But then he would call on the main cast to stay there for a while maybe. So this would probably be like a montage or something of strange events occurring, and eventually there would be this build up where they discover that there's like soldiers and stuff getting hypnotized, but they don't know from what or from who. And sort of more towards the end of the episode, you would get like a small battle where all the soldiers come up from the outside of the walls of the castle, and they're all like hypnotized, and they start like shooting with bows at like the main cast and the king and the people. And so they sort of like they don't kill them, they just sort of knock oh, they sort of knock them unconscious, and then I feel like probably Lucas would cast out the demons in their head or something to unhypnotize them or whatever. And then essentially we would get, I think we already had a teaser for Moloch in a previous episode or something. Oh yeah, by the way, the side notes, that's a bit of an important part. So season one's main villain would be Moloch, the big war demon, if you saw him in one of my previous videos. And I forgot to mention, when I kind of come up with a concept for an episode, it's kind of hard in the moment to come up with it like a teaser for the build up for the main villain. But now later on, I realized that maybe I should have had like a little hint in one of the first episodes where, for example, we see like two demons talking, one with maybe like bug eyes, about how they have to help their leader setting up a camp or something. And so after this episode, we get another teaser basically. After the battle is over, we would sort of see them celebrating and stuff and just having fun. But then in the castle, we'd zoom into like one of those like glass magic balls, but it's more like a decorational piece. But the special part is that now it would actually start lighting up, and you'd see like evil like horns and eyes popping out of the ball. And so that would kind of be like a teaser for Moloch, and then I'm thinking after that they would probably go home, but I'm not exactly sure what they would do with the end of the episode. Hmm. I'm thinking they would start building a portal to heaven with the white tellurium they found at the beginning of the episode. Yeah, and this would basically take them a while because this is not an easy task, because it's something that hasn't really been done before in Celestials, because the main cast is kind of like how do you say it? I purposely made the Celestials universe where a lot of interesting things can happen, but coincidentally, some of the most interesting things happen for the first time with the main cast, especially with someone with like Inferno, who's like really old and experienced with this kind of stuff, because they're like the main attraction of the show. So they always find a way of like getting into up to the most interesting stuff. Such as building portal to heaven, for example. But this portal, by the way, this would be for the next episode. This wouldn't actually lead them like into heaven. More like how to say, it's kind of like when people die for a few seconds in the hospital and they kind of get like a vision of heaven. It would be more like that they would get access to like the more public how do you say it, the more public like mortal realm of heaven, not like actually heaven where God is and stuff, more like the sort of how do you say this, like the free real estate part of heaven or something. I'm not exactly sure on that, but I think it would be pretty interesting. And so yeah, they would probably like build the portal for the rest of the episode and then just kind of chill. So you can tell it's like kind of a filler episode that sort of leads up to the next episodes, gives us a teaser of like the main villain, and they kind of get up to something interesting in the meanwhile. And yeah, I think that's pretty much everything. I'm not exactly sure, but you can kind of get an idea. So to recap again, actually we don't need to recap. Fuck that. Okay, hope you enjoyed the video and see you in the next one. Bye.